Guys, it finally happened. The pros have finally caught on to the fact that X-Tomb Crustle is a good tank build. This is so cool. So, Chris Heroes posted this a little earlier. It's a competitive match between the new Nouns Esports and a team called GigaChat. But what I am most excited about is seeing Bruv on Crustle. Look at this team composition. Blaine is the ADC here, and he's going bottom alongside Bruv here. So that's almost like seeing another version of Sakavan and I, which is really fun. But more than anything, I really wanted to analyze the plays that Bruv makes and seeing how they compare to mine, since Bruv is a player that has been at World Championships of this game. So it's really exciting to see people turn on to my build. Now the first thing I notice, this doesn't tell you much, but it does tell you the battle item, and Crustle is on the eject button. I myself have never used the eject button. I prefer the X speed, and before the X speed I was actually on potion. I switched when the cursed items were introduced. But I'm sure eject button is just fine. I use it on Snorlax. I haven't actually tried it on Crustle. I'm sure it's totally fine there as well. Let's see how this works. I'm excited to see what's going on here. So I believe I watched this video once, and I wasn't paying as close attention as I'm going to be paying in this video. Let's see. Had to speed it up a little bit. But I seem to remember that they just run past the second set of farm. Interesting. Maybe they just recognize that they're against Snorlax and Inteleon here, and they're going to want to... the Pikachu secures the mid farm there. That they're going to want to, get there in time to not lose that mid farm. Oh, they get the two. According to the map, they get the two that were in a line there next to each other, but they skipped over the second Bunnelby. Oh, they're playing aggressively into the Snorlax. Snorlax and Inteleon are known to be very strong early game Pokemon, and they forced the Snorlax to retreat here. That's a good sign. It means even at the highest levels, Dwebble and Pikachu have a pretty strong early game. You know, that's meaningful to me because I have used Crustle to carry me to Master Rank twice, but in this game you can never really tell exactly, what the quality of your opponents was on the way up there. In fact, there are some bot matches that you even get along the way, especially in the early ranks, right? So it's nice to see matches of this competitive level because they kind of reinforce the ideas that I've already had in my mind about what is working and not just what works against inferior opponents, if that makes any sense. So we're going to be flipping between lanes here, even though I'm mostly just interested in the bottom lane. I think Chris was talking about what an abysmal early game this Torchic has. Torchic in general, not this Torchic. And that Pokemon does not get good until 7. So here's where they go back for their Bunnelby. It evolves the Crustle. Chris opened up this menu. So here it shows that Pikachu's going to be on the Thunderbolt combo. Unless he's on Thunderbolt Tackle, which would also be cool. Oh, it's because he was checking what move Crustle took, and I remember him being surprised that he took Rock Tomb, even though that is the superior build, specifically when you're playing it as the bottom lane tank, which Chris also acknowledges that, I guess, if you're not being the carry, because when the Crustle buffs first came out 2 seasons ago, oh man, everyone was going crazy for Crit Crustle. The Shell Smash X-Scissor build was everywhere. You would see Phil Yomas making videos about it, Spraggles making videos about it, Chris Heroes making videos about it. It was nothing but hype for the Shell Smash build. Whereas I just snuck in so many wins with Rock Tomb X-Scissor. That was always what I was on. And this is the very first time that I'm seeing pros actually picking this build up. And I think Chris was a little taken aback by it too, just because you rarely see this build. And part of that is because there are just so many good tanks in this game. Umbreon and Slowbro are so good. Outside of them, Snorlax and Trevenant are also quite good, and even the recently nerfed Lapras does really well as a bottom lane tank, and so does Blastoise. So there's kind of an abundance of riches, is what I'm trying to say, at the bottom lane, so this Crustle build didn't really stick out. There's the Rock Tomb. That's the kind of Rock Tomb I like to have. Now, if he had X-Scissor... Oh, alright. Got the kill on the Crustle anyway. Now, this isn't really specific to Crustle or Pikachu, but noticing that the two bottom laners are playing really well off of each other's strengths. The Crustle is going up there, cutting off the opponent's escape options, trying to cut the farm away from the opposing ADC, and all the while standing in the way of his own ADC, of that Pikachu, so that they can't get a good angle to shoot him from. And Pikachu has a really good range on that Thunderbolt build. He can spam that lightning from really far away, and it creates really good area control. For example, you can get caught in a Rock Tomb, which of course slows you down. It doesn't only block your way, it also slows you down. And then a Thunderbolt combo might get launched at you in there. It could rip your HP really, really quickly. Now, of course, when I lane with Sokovin's on the Electro Ball Volt Tackle build, which works just as well because the Rock Tomb creates a nice little pocket for Electro Ball to smash into you. I do enjoy laning with Pikachu. It's nice to see him get some love too. Another recently buffed Pokemon, relatively speaking. Now, of course, if you're watching this far in the future... real quick, if you're watching this far in the future, this is happening not too long after Mewtwo Y was finally nerfed. We've come out of a period in time where it was a completely overpowered Pokemon, and it just now, after what feels like months, got the hit that it needed. And so Lapras has just gotten nerfed, Mewtwo Y has just gotten nerfed, Urshifu got a little bit of a nerf, Leafeon's Unite move got a little bit of a nerf, and then we've got some buffs to things like Absol and Blaziken. So, which is why you're seeing Blaziken here in a competitive match. I always like to kind of timestamp these videos in case you're watching it in the future. When in the history of Pokemon Unite did this take place? This is where we are. I wanted to go back to this moment because it looks like Blaine and Bruv were rotating top, and Giga Chad had the same idea. So the Snorlax is chasing them, gets this heavy slam off on the Pikachu. Look at that Pikachu fly! Okay, so I don't know if I love this from Bruv. I don't know if he didn't notice that the Snorlax was on Pikachu, because if that weren't the case, this is absolutely the play. You go to Rock Tomb, cut off the escape of that... oh lord. What is the name of the thing that evolves from Sobble? Yikes, I didn't play the mainline games of this generation. My bad. But the Inteleon, right? You cut off his escape, you can land the X-Scissor, hopefully, and just take him straight out. Which would have worked to perfection if he had had his ADC backing him up. But I don't know if he just didn't notice that the Snorlax had cut off his escape, because he's taking a lot of damage trying to get this Inteleon, and I could tell from this part, watching the video originally, that he's not going to make it here. He's just completely surrounded. The idea was good, but this was not the moment. Now, what are the alternatives? Because it's easy enough to criticize, but sometimes it's harder to come up with what was supposed to happen. A little bit of awareness shows that, okay, so they have an Ivysaur to the left of them. I had missed that myself. Pikachu's over here getting griefed by the Snorlax, and the Pikachu escapes southward, and Ivysaur continues on his path north because he sees that the goal is getting sieged, and he wants to go protect that. Okay, so it's totally possible that Bruv thought he was going to get support from both the Pikachu and the Ivysaur here, and this would have certainly ended in the Inteleon's death. So maybe just a slight miscommunication here. It ends with the Crustle dying and the Inteleon sadly still drawing breath. It looks like Pikachu went back down to defend the goal. That's interesting. Yeah, I remember there's a really satisfying solar beam that comes out right at around this moment. Boom! Such a cool kill. I keep meaning to pick up Venusaur as one of the junglers that I could use, but My playgroup already has such good junglers. I really don't think it's necessary. Now here, Bruv makes a series of Rock Tomb plays that seemed a little bit weird to me. Oh, this one I don't think is that weird. Let me back up just a second. We just saw the Solar Beam kill. Oh yeah, no, this is just a classic try to steal the farm with a Rock Tomb. No, maybe not. It was super late. But, now that I brought it up, it's one of the funniest things in the world when you can wait for the right moment and steal a farm from far away with a Rock Tomb. A move that's not even supposed to be used for damage. It just feels like... Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I can only imagine how frustrating it is for the opponents. But it looks like he shot that Rock Tomb so late he didn't have a chance. I don't know if he was just trying to bait them into something. I believe he does. He makes another similar play here. Yeah, it's annoying. It traps the Snorlax right there, but it doesn't exactly accomplish much. It's possible that he's just trying to set up poke moments for Pikachu to shoot his lightning. Now Snorlax, assuming, yeah, at this point in the game, I don't believe he has any recovery moves outside of his Unite that helps him stay alive. But he has a goal zone right there, so the chip damage really isn't doing much. I'd have to assume that you're just setting up Rock Tombs to try and either catch the Inteleon overcommitting, maybe? Or just letting the Pikachu shoot some lightning. Of course, I would love to get in Bruv's brain here. He's definitely a better player than I am. And ask him what his goals are around this area. It's possible he's just not as experienced on Crustle and was just in the mood to try something else. So here, they definitely caught the aggro of the Registeel, and I'm guessing it was on purpose, because the team communicated that Giga Chad was closer to coming down than the rest of Nouns, and so Bruv purposely aggroed the Registeel and purposely forced it to rubber band back so that Giga Chad wouldn't have a chance to rip. Oh, this fight is really interesting. So the Hoopa belongs to Nouns, yes, and he's bringing other players from the top lane down bottom. And here... Ooh, yeah, right from here you can see, oh, this Crustle is done for. I looked at the time and I looked at the levels in this moment, because if he has his Unite at level 9, Rebel Rouser saves him here, and even though he will still get ripped rather quickly, you get a humongous shield, but it's not going to save you from Inteleon and Glaceon. But it would buy you enough time to where that Venusaur and the Pikachu could come and completely clean this up. Now, one of the reasons I love Thunderbolt Pikachu is because he has such good zoning here. It's just that poke is so annoying. Yeah, individually they don't seem to be chunking your HP bar that high, but you're in a fight where he's hitting you from the back where you can't touch him and you're fighting the other frontliners, and all of a sudden you look down at your HP and you're at like 30% because you've just taken so much of that electrical damage. Which is really cool. Definitely Bruv's doing a great job frontlining here. He's not going to last very long, I'd have to assume. Yeah, not quite. It looks like a Desu had jumped in there. Oh, it's just Hoopa doing Hoopa things. I saw another name and HP bar there and got confused. It was just the Hoopa teleporting in and out. Now, is the Pikachu going to be able to secure this Registeel? It looks like no one is putting too much pressure on it. They're all just looking for the right opportunity to nuke it right away. Oh, snap! I didn't even see that. Was that a Solar Beam? It was a Solar Beam! Oh, that's amazing. Venusaur is so strong. I played him once and I was terrible with him. Okay, here's the Crustle again. The main star of this episode. As per usual. So he's here trying to get the farm away from the Snorlax. Yep, that was very good. So it looked like the farm was at high HP there when he started going for it, right? But he's probably in communication with the Pikachu, his lane partner, and he says, let's go for this farm. And the Pikachu is able to land a Thunder right on it. And together, it looks like they secure it. Now we're applying pressure. That was a great Rock Tomb for cutting off the escape of Inteleon. Unfortunately, the team doesn't seem super ready to capitalize on these kind of moments. And that might be because no one is used to playing alongside a Crustle in competitive. It could be it. Because the Hoopa was moving backwards here. Pikachu wasn't in position. If they had both been in position, this Inteleon or Eldegoss might have taken a lot of damage, if not outright died from this. Even in their own goal. I'm assuming that Pikachu's running the Cursed Incense, by the way. I don't know. But most Pikachus are, and that's because it helps them create... it helps them lower the safety of a goal zone for the opponents. If you're taking damage while your healing is getting nerfed, the healing that you're receiving from the goal isn't as useful. So that's why I'm so confident that they could have made something work despite them being halfway on their goal zone there from that area. Another Solar Beam, man. I'm really here trying to analyze the plays of this Crustle, and this Solar Beam Venusaur is just stealing the show. Ooh, that was good. That was good. Let me see. So if you have Rock Tomb up, it's coming back. So that was the eject button to get out of there and come back with more HP. That's cool. I believe this Eldegoss goes down up there. Yep. Okay, so the Glaceon had come here. Yeah, I love these opportunities. So the Glaceon is rushing in to try and stop Nouns from taking this goal. And this is the kind of moments that Crustle really, really likes. Because Glaceon loves to do what? It likes to come in, get you in his range, fire off that Icicle Spear, and then back away while he's shooting you, right? He's got that untouchable range. As long as he hits you the first time, he will keep hitting you no matter how far away he gets. But that plays really well into Crustle, because Crustle can cut off your escape by putting a Rock Tomb behind you. So that was this. Yeah, that was a great play from Crustle. It goes a little bit too far back. I don't know if it even applies the slow here. Oh, you almost made it. It looks like he died right before the third tick of X-Scissor, because X-Scissor attacks 3 times. One, two. Oh, the third might have killed him there. Adesu gets him, the Hoopa. Nice plays from Nouns. You know, if the Pikachu or the Hoopa or the Venusaur had followed up a little bit better on the Crustle's play, he might have... The Glaceon might have died before the Crustle, right? But part of your role as a tank, or sometimes it could be the role of anyone in the right position, right? It's to make sure that you zone out the enemy so that your opponents can score. And there it was probably... the argument could be made, definitely, that it was more important to deny that goal for Giga Chad than it was to keep the Crustle alive. Especially because he was just level 8. I don't believe anyone was level 7 on Giga Chad's side, so the catch-up XP wouldn't have been the greatest deal in the world. And that's what I always say as the main XP share user of our Team Usual Suspects, is that I always want to be the one who dies rather than my lane partner. Because they're supposed to be fed on XP from having laned with me, and I'm supposed to be, you know, backed up. So how does catch-up XP work, right? You want to kill the highest level Pokemon to get the maximum rewards from that catch-up XP. Ooh, Crustle is back. It was moving up. It cut that Blastoise, but it wasn't the greatest moment to be able to take advantage of because of the Rapid Spin here. Oh no, that was a Unite move, it seems. So, yeah, he got caught in a perfect Rock Tomb, but he United and gained that invulnerability anyway during that moment. So, Nouns wasn't able to capitalize on it at that point. Of course, they kill him, but this was after the Rock Tomb, which makes Crustle look significantly less cool. Wow. Was that an Icy Wind? Am I thinking this is the wrong Glaceon? That totally was an Icy Wind, huh? Well, that's totally fine. The play from before, down at the bottom lane, was still perfectly fine against any sort of ADC. Nice Solar Beam. Nice Thunder. Oh, Rock Tomb placement. I want to analyze this. This was meant for whom? So Glaceon, Snorlax, Inteleon. Snorlax is stunned right now, probably due to Thunderbolt. So I'm thinking throw a Rock Tomb, trap the Snorlax and the Glaceon, hopefully both, see who you get. Yep, it didn't quite go far enough. They were both able to escape, but the idea was good here. And now we see that little yellow bubble. Crustle is level 9 now, so now we have access to one of the most powerful Unite moves in the game, Rubble Rouser. What I like to say is, You should be hitting 9 somewhere in the 5-minute mark. This is kind of low. That's totally fine. You're playing against really good opposition, so sometimes they'll just deny your levels, right? Even when you're bruv. So, what I'm saying is I like to say as soon as you hit 9, you look for an opportunity where it's a good time to use your Unite move. Because if you use it at around this time, and you use it not too long after it recharges the first time, then you're going to be able to get off 3 Rebel Rousers in one game, which is really, really good, because it's one of the strongest Unite moves in the game. So if you use it 3 times instead of 2, that's really beneficial. So this looks like a potentially good spot, I'm thinking. If you Unite here to beat these 3 Pokemon, knock them off their pad, and break this goal here, I think this is exactly what Bruv does. But let's see how he takes the Koopa Portal back. Rock Tomb to trap them. X-Scissor in. Perfect. There's the combination. Gets pushed out. Now, he could have united right at the end of X-Scissor, I think. The alternative is he might have gotten chain stunned as soon as he got out of the X-Scissor animation, in which case that wasn't an option. But assuming it was an option, it's interesting that Bruv chose to wait. Yep, there's the Rebel Rouser right here. Here's the Unite move. As I explained in a video or two ago, Crustle's Unite move plays kind of well with his ability. You guys know off the top of your head what his ability does. It's called Sturdy, and it counts stacks based on the percentage of HP that you're missing. So if you're missing a small percentage of HP, you have 1 stack of Sturdy. If you're missing most of your HP, you have 9 or 10 stacks of Sturdy. And what those stacks do is they raise your defense and special defense, making you even tankier, right? So normally, this is good. It kind of makes an offset, like the weaker you get, the more benefit you get. Kind of like a little safeguard. Like the closer your opponent gets to KO you, the harder they actually have to work because your defenses are getting better, right? But it actually works really well with the Unite move that gives you this massive shield, because now you're not even close to dying anymore, but because your true HP is so low, you still have that many stacks. Which, I don't know if that's exactly what Noun Bruv was thinking here, but it definitely is going to work really, really well. But of course, it doesn't hurt that his entire team is here helping him carry this, so it really doesn't look like Crustle is shining super brightly at all when he's playing really, really well. And sometimes that's just how it goes as an XP share user. He got put to sleep there, unfortunate. It looks like that must have been the Snorlax's Unite. Oh no, Yawn, more likely, right? Gosh, I don't know how Snorlax works. Ooh, huge snipe shot hit he just took right there. Crustle's a big, juicy target. I think he should go home here, maybe? Maybe? What's he gonna do? He was switching bushes and then going home. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that they were trying to decide what he should do through mic communication or something. And that's why he was kind of zigzagging back and forth for a while there. Alright, now it's Blaziken holding the bottom lane. Everyone's rotating. Of course, it's pretty easy for Nouns having the Hoopa. Hoopa's really, really good at helping his team secure multiple objectives, right? Because they can just go from one side of the map to the other really, really easily. Oh, by the way, one of the best plays you can do against a Hoopa team is break their goals early, because then they can't connect them like that. But Giga Chad seems like they've never had the upper hand against Nouns this game. Which is not surprising. Nouns is totally stacked this season in terms of individual player quality. So here's the Crustle again in the corner. Sets up a Rock Tomb that way. Interesting. Okay. I like to rewind to a few seconds back, always, to see exactly what the Crustle player's intention might have been. So here is where the Crustle walks in. I know he puts it somewhere near the corner of that stone thing. Who was he trying to trap? The Eldegoss, it seems. Yeah, and then X-Scissors him into the wall. Oh, but he goes the wrong way, just a little. He predicted incorrectly about where the Eldegoss was heading. But the Eldegoss does get killed. Oh, the Glaceon's barely hanging on. Nouns is able to take these birds. Oh, that was a perfect Rock Tomb right there. It's one of the less commonly thought about uses of Rock Tomb, is when your opponent has recovered their position and are charging into you. you put that rock tomb there as something that they need to walk around to get to you as you're retreating. So it's almost like it's the opposite side of the wall that you would imagine you would be using as a rock tomb user. That was very good use of that move by Bruv. I expect no less from a player of his caliber. Blastoise is just bullying this Regieleki. But of course it's wasting the Blastoise's time, right? Giga Chad can't allow this to crash. They have to lose a Pokemon to zone it up here. Solar Beam sure hit hard. So here we don't see Crustle on the screen, but on the minimap he is harassing the Inteleon at the bottom goal. And I wonder what the point of this is. Now he's moving up to connect with his team. Oh no, he's stealing the jungle. Or at least he was for a second there. Nice, nice. That was good patience. You don't go in on the Blastoise when it's doing that. That was its Unite move. Yep. Now Bruv was able to tell really quickly, oh, this Blastoise is about to Unite, and backed out of its range. That's something that might have caught me, because I don't play the majority of the Pokemon in this game. I play like 6 or 7 of them. That was a really good reaction time. Didn't take any unnecessary damage from that Unite move from the Blastoise. Just backed off, backed right back in when the animation was over, and traps him with the Rock Tomb, basically sealing his fate. Blastoise tries to surf away. You can't do that in Rock... Oh, he doesn't X-Scissor him. Oh, okay. So he didn't go to kill the... Okay, so what was the philosophy then behind this Rock Tomb is what I'm wondering. I guess he's just trying to save his team here. I think he could have taken that Blastoise. Maybe he was scared they need to regroup. Maybe he's trying to go and protect the Hoopa. Interesting. So what my instincts as a Crustle player wanted to do here is, yes, fire off that Rock Tomb and then immediately X-Scissor into the Blastoise. The Blastoise fails the Surf? Oh, he did X-Scissor into the Blastoise. It almost looks like the Surf animation canceled the X-Scissor animation, and they were going different ways. Okay. I get it now. That's really weird. Sometimes I do get the feeling that there are some moves that almost always take priority over others. It might have to do with timing. And the players who we see playing here probably already know this stuff. The stuff that I am now just wondering. But yeah, that's interesting. So unfortunate that the Surf canceled out the X-Scissor. I actually wonder if that Blastoise player knew that ahead of time and purposely avoided the X-Scissor. Pretty cool. So now, ooh, kind of wanted to see that. Those statistics that Chris just put up. No. Too far ahead. Still too far ahead, actually, but Crustle went top lane. He went home so that he could go top and defend that goal. Okay, here. Wow. So, Venusaur's putting in a lot of work. Both XP share users from Nouns with 10 assists. That looks really good. Yeah, I like it. Sometimes you can get an impressive amount of kills as Crustle. It doesn't usually happen, so this is pretty consistent with what I would be seeing as a Crustle main myself. Same with the levels. You ideally want to be at least level 12 by the time the Rayquaza fight starts. If you're really steamrolling, you might be level 13. That doesn't usually happen. Now, you might hit 13 before the Rayquaza goes down, if the fight is delayed. But, no, they're doing great in levels so far. Yep, Crustle's going up here. What is the purpose of being up here? I guess he was scouting ahead, seeing who was at the top lane, who they need to worry about. Who was just being a pain in the neck in their jungle, I guess? Alright, so this is a little different than the plays I would make, and I'm assuming it's because they're talking to each other. As a Crustle, I might have hit the Regieleki a little bit, and then maybe gone a little bit lower to make sure that no one was on their way to come try and steal the Regieleki. But what I'm assuming happened here when Bruv moved down is that the Hoopa Adesu called out and said, hey, there's a bunch in the jungle, I need some help. And that's why he went bottom. Where do they go from here? Nice little rock tomb, just to kind of delay the opponent's movements. I'm not entirely sure where they want to go, but making it harder for them to move is never a bad thing. The Regieleki crashes, okay. Ooh. Should have just gone to... Yep, okay, you get the scores, and can they run away? So this is a play I'd find really risky in solo queue, but I guess no, with a team with full communications, the Venusaur and the Hoopa players would be able to tell the top laners, hey, we're losing in this mid fight. You guys need to come down now. Because when you don't have that communication, what happens is you go in back cap, right? And the Regi crashes and you score your 200 points and whatnot, but then you don't notice that all 5 of the enemies swarm your team in the center, kill the guys, take the Rayquaza, and then end up stealing the game at the end, right? So that's one thing that communication really, really helps flesh out, is that those moments don't go unnoticed until it's too late. Okay, Blaziken and Crustle are both still alive. Are they going to go home or are they going to come down? The Blaziken has come down to help in the fight. Oh man, so much going on. There's the Crustle. I see him on the left corner. Ooh, very interesting rock tomb there. Now, of course, it still gets the slow for a few seconds. I'm thinking that was to cut off their route to get the top laner. So let me see the interaction between Glaceon and Inteleon and Nouns. They're being chased upwards and then get stopped by the rock tomb. Interesting. So from far away, you can still sort of frontline with Crustle. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So now Giga Chad is extending upward. I think the point that what Nouns is trying to do is lead them upward away from the Rayquaza and hopefully scatter their team a little bit so that they're less unified. And the rock tomb really, really helps here. Wow, that was such a perfect angle. Here's the Rebel Rouser again, and below half HP. Great rock tomb. Blastoise has nowhere to go. Easily killed. Love it. Absolutely love it. I love the timing on that Unite move too, because it really felt like Bruv waited until the moment where it looked like they could flip the mid fight. So when he clicks the Unite move right after this moment where he takes these two out of the fight, or someone does, they got stunned by something. Might have been Thunderbolt. Okay, so the Glaceon, the Inteleon go down. Here, what Bruv might be thinking is, ooh, and the Eldegoss also goes down. They've already lost some players. The faster I Unite here, the faster we can take out the last two. Because you don't want to start ripping the Rayquaza ideally if there's anyone alive, right? Because you don't want to open yourself up for that to get stolen. You want to ideally wipe the enemy team. So, if you don't Unite move here, you kill them less quickly, which means that the death timers count down on the dead guys and they come back a little faster. Here, when you rip everything, you get these two defenders out of the way as fast as possible, and it gives you the time to kill the Rayquaza. So, yeah, I really like that. That was really well executed. I feel like Crustle really didn't get to shine too much, but that's alright. I still think he was played really cleanly. I saw a lot of plays that were similar to the ones that I try to make as a Crustle player. That's awesome. Now, I know this video already risks being way too long. I'm already at over half an hour and I haven't even gotten to this, but basically on the same day that Chris posts a video of Nouns using Crustle, Zugrug from Team TTV also posts a video. There's another player who was just at the World Championships a few months ago, turning on to Rock Tomb X-Scissor Crustle, which is so cool. And this one actually shows the boost emblems and the item sets. His emblem set is a little bit different than mine. I'm super interested in this, actually. You cut down from 6 to 4 brown, and then you instead add 2 purple alongside your 2 blue. That's really interesting. Makes you slightly more defensive, huh? Of course, boost emblems aren't the biggest deal in the world, but I might try that. Anyhow, that's really cool. But I do see some boost emblems in here that boost attack anyway, so I'll have to analyze that a little bit later. I don't want this video to take too long. I usually go Body Barrier as my last item on Crustle, whereas Zugrug seems to be going Weakness Policy. And just like Bruv, he's also on the eject button. I don't believe this is a game in a tournament, but TTVzugrug is a very good tournament player. So, it's just... this wasn't happening before. Ooh, you can Fury Cutter into both Bunnelbys? Oh my gosh, I feel like such a noob. I've been maining Crustle for so long and I didn't know that that range did that. I thought for sure you couldn't touch both Bunnelbys at the same time. That's cool. Alright, looks like they were able to secure that. They do have a Sobble, a very good early game Pokemon. Looks like they used the same tactic of leaving some of the Bunnelbys in lane. I've experimented with some of those tactics myself before. We haven't been super successful with them, Sockman and I, but maybe it's time to go back to them. Analyze them a little closer. At the Aditi, now go back and get the Bunnelby? No, get this Baltoy. No time, 5 seconds till Lane Birds. Yep. You really, really want this 4. Oh. Huge Water Gun from the Sobble there, evolving both of them. I was worried. I want to go back to that for just a second. No, not this. Not this. Oh, goodness. Here? Yeah, I think he Fury Cutters a little too early. But I think he realizes that there's so much nuking power that can just take down the farm from such high HP that it's important to just get it to a point where the Water Gun can secure them and then leave it there. Because otherwise the Mew's going to do it, right? With a clean Electro Ball or Solar Beam or whatever he may be on. I'm not sure where Slowbro's going. Is he transitioning to a jungle invasion? It looks like he is. How interesting. So these are some of the plays that I consider myself not experienced enough to really fully comprehend, because what happened here is Slowbro took himself out of the lane and took the enemy tank out of the lane, and that accomplished, I don't know, see, like, it's hard for me to analyze exactly why that would be the correct play. Maybe you were fishing for a different scenario, and the way that the enemy team, in this case the TTV side, ended up reacting is, instead of staying in lane, the Inteleon went into their jungle and started invading. And of course they talked to each other, and the Urshifu Comfey combo came down and took him out. So now Crustle is solo defending this goal, trying to deny these opponents the farm, but it's really tricky. Ooh, nice, nice, nice. There's the X-Scissor. Waiting to try and snipe with a rock tomb. Did he do it? I couldn't tell if the XP bar moved. Actually, this is kind of funny enough. Oh my gosh, he gets it! The XP moved by a lot. It's what I was telling you guys earlier. The rock tomb snipes, they're the funniest thing. Nobody expects rock tomb to be used as a secure. That's ridiculous, but like, it's the only shot you have from range, right? X-Scissor, people see it coming a mile away. Yep, Rock Tomb to zone them out, and then grab the birds while they can't get back into the lane. Perfect. Really good stuff from Zugrug on Rock Tomb here. Now everyone's rotating bottom. Let's see how this war against the... Yes, I agree with that. There, in that moment, it was correct to X-Scissor, because it's higher damage, gives you a higher chance to take it. Oof. Gets clipped by the tail end of that Registeel attack. Alright. Nice little Crustle secure there. Anyone could have gotten it there. They were just in a good situation. Oh, that's Overlord on on the Urshifu. That's funny. Sport book. Ooh. Combo of Double Urshifu fight here, but one of them has a Comfey, but the other one has friends. Yeah. Rock Tomb's kind of nice against a Pokemon like Urshifu. He doesn't have as many dashes to run right straight through it like Zoroark, and the slow is kind of relevant. Urshifu's already kind of slow outside of his moves, in my opinion. I could be wrong. This is just what I've noticed. And I've played against more mediocre players than I have world-class players, of course. Ah, see there? It looked like X-Scissor had gone off before the Surf, but the Surf still... the knockback priority was in Surf's favor. Whoa! Alright, alright, alright. So, Zugrug was already level 9. He had access to Rebel Rouser. That's a good time. That was a good, what, 30 seconds at least before... The last game's Crustle had their Unite move. And he chooses to use it here. That caught me off guard. Here we're X-Scissoring. What is the purpose here? So I did talk about how you want to Unite early so that you can use it 3 times in a game instead of 2, right? So that's definitely one of the reasons in favor of using it here. It was really just to clear these two so that the Inteleon could score. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. I kind of see what they're doing. He only had 16, but it's not often you get to score that easily on the back goal. Yeah, I think that Unite move timing there was really more about making sure that you get enough Unite moves out by the end of the game, rather than that being, you know, the greatest Unite moment of all time. It was really just there to take out the bottom laners, to open up the goals. And knowing Zugrug and the level of player he is, he probably also understood that, hey, they're really busy up there at the top lane. These bottom laners probably aren't going to get any help. Which is great vision. I usually fail to look at that stuff myself. I usually just panic and hit Rebel Rouser. And the moments are usually similar. It's just that sometimes I mess up, and bottom lane was going to get help really soon. And so I put myself in a corner where, yeah, I took out the 2 bottom laners, but then I get killed by the reinforcements. Always important to use that map. Gotta drill those habits into ourselves, right? Beautiful. Trapping the Slowbro, seeing what is in case his team wants to engage it, and they do. It's almost back. Oh, yep. You get behind the Slowbro in the opposite direction, the direction of where it wants to go, and you X-Scissor it back toward the team. Great tactic. Not entirely sure why the Slowbro had turned around there. Enemy Urshifu. So we've already got Rebel Rouser back. It's not a bad time to use it. Actually, if you use it around here, it's almost... yeah, there we go. See, at around 3:30, I think you should be able to get it back by the time the Ray fight is up. These were some of the last moments to possibly use it. So he gets killed here. That's a lot of damage that the enemies put out. But he was the only one that went down. And that means they used a lot of their moves to take down that Crustle, and not any of the Crustle's allies. So the Crustle team still won that fight, despite losing the Crustle after the Unite move. So here, this is awesome. We're getting some last minute farming up on the way to the top objective. I wonder... It's times like these where I constantly pan over the minimap to see if it's being fought. And that's what Zugrug was doing there, because I'm really scared that I'm going to show up late. Alright, really far Rock Team trying to catch the Urshifu there. One's going together. Yeah, he really wants this Urshifu. Perfect. I really like targeting Urshifus as Crustle as well, because the not only the Rock Tomb cutting into the speed, but the X-Scissor, the amount of time that the 3 ticks of X-Scissor hit for, Urshifu can't move. Well, I mean, no Pokemon can move while it's getting hit by X-Scissor, right? But those are a few seconds that they could have used to get away. A good player could have ejected, they could have used a move to get out of the way, but they're stuck in that knockback. And if any opponent is there ready to capitalize on it, that's a dead Urshifu. So here, our heroes notice that we definitely have a lead, So it's not our responsibility to rip the Rayquaza, just to make sure that it isn't taken. So that's why they're not at the center. And of course at high level play this is pretty common. In regular queue, I mean, you really want to make sure at least most of your team is over there at the Rayquaza. Unless you absolutely know where all 5 of them are and what they could do next. Because here, everyone's in communication, I'm assuming. So they can all say, like, oh, there's 3 up here, there's 2 down there, we have vision on all of them. We're this close to killing this guy or that guy. Oh man, that oh, it's the Unite move from Urshifu. See here, this X-Scissor, it's so good at cutting off that movement. Urshifu's a pretty decent matchup for Crustle, actually. In comparison to something like Zoroark that can just... It almost feels like Rock Tomb does nothing against Zoroark sometimes. X-Scissor could be solid gold, but landing it sometimes is just a headache. By the time you go to throw the X-Scissor, they're already in a different place. That was an interesting piece of movement right here. Check this out. Zugrug gets right up to the goal and just says, nah, and leaves. Huh. That's something I hadn't considered before. Maybe he's just dragging them bottom, right? So they don't go through the jungle, they don't go through the top. And Overlord's here, he didn't have the same idea, if that's even the case. Comfy jumps down to deny the Urshifu from scoring, but immediately backs off, because that is not a matchup Comfy could win. Waits for allies, the Slowbro's there, the Mew is in the jungle, Solar Beams the Crustle. Deals a lot, but Crustle cuts off his escape with the Rock Tomb. Well done to Zugrug there. Check this out. So, go in, you see the Mew, you just tank the Solar Beam, because you can put the Rock Tomb right there, making sure that that Mew is just completely dead. This Mew's gone. There's no surviving it. And the Rock Tomb helped ensure that. He had no escape options. Now, they do get surrounded here. And how do we break out of this? Okay, just brute force your way through. Yep. Everyone collapses on this bottom goal. The game is over now. The game ends as soon as it becomes apparent that there's no more time to both take Rayquaza and get all the scores that you need. So at this point, it doesn't exactly matter what Zugrug chooses to do. It could be anything. Oh, the Inteleon just gets the Rayquaza. So they're telling him they have vision on all 5 of them. No one is going over there. So Otter is just able to rip it. And the Unite move is back. Now, call me crazy. Did I miscalculate, or did I just not see when the 3rd time that Zugrug united? Because I was talking to him so much about how he united at the right moment at 3:30 so he could have it back by the Ray fight, right? And then I just didn't... There was no Ray fight, and I didn't see where he used it. Maybe I'm just tripping. Ugh. Huge stomp right there. Wow. Scary team, these guys. But, hey! X-Tomb Crustle. That's my Pokemon. I feel so good. Here at 139, he has his Unite move. Oh, he united here! Oh, I'm so blind. Obviously, okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Because they were heading to the center. You want to take them out as soon as they get close to Rayquaza. Or maybe that's not true. But you definitely want to kill them when the fight is going on near the Rayquaza, because if the fight ends there and it doesn't go in your favor, they're right there next to the most important objective in the game. Okay, yeah. So technically 4 Rubble Rousers is what you can get off, but this one over here, it doesn't really count. The game was over. Awesome. Well, it was really cool to see really, really high-level players using this build. Thank you for watching up until this point. Take care. See you next time.